Okay, picture this. You build a brand new online business, maybe over a weekend, and then a few months down the line, you sell it for 5 figures. Sounds kind of like a dream, right? Well, it's actually becoming a reality, all thanks to this new model of building and flipping AI-powered websites. So today, we're going to break down exactly how this whole thing works. No, seriously, just think about that for a second. What if you could launch a genuinely profitable online business? Not in years, not even in months, but in just a few days. I mean, that sounds almost impossible, doesn't it? And then, what if you could take that exact same little business and flip it for thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars, just a couple of months later? It's pretty wild. Look, this isn't just some hypothetical question. This is what's happening right now. Welcome to the new digital real estate. It's a model that is so much faster, way more dynamic, and honestly a lot more accessible than old school online businesses ever were. So, what's behind this whole shift? Why is this opportunity just exploding right at this moment? Well, it turns out a few key things have all come together to create the perfect storm. I mean, just look at the difference AI is making here. It has completely changed the game. It's radically compressed the time it takes to get something out the door. You know, what used to take months of development and a huge budget, well, you can now build a prototype and launch it in just a few days. In this new world, speed is everything. It's your ultimate advantage. And you know what? All this speed has created this exploding market of buyers. You've got investors, entrepreneurs, even agencies, and they're all out there hunting for these small, profitable digital assets to scoop up. And all that demand, it leads to some really attractive sale prices. We're talking sites that sell for 20, 30, even 50 times their monthly profit. That's huge. Now, the specific type of digital asset we're really talking about here is called a micro SaaS. So what in the world does that actually mean? Okay, so a micro SaaS is basically a small, super focused software tool. The key is it doesn't try to be everything to everyone. Nope. Instead, it solves one specific problem for one specific group of people, and it does that one thing really, really well. So yeah, the key difference here is all about focus. You know, traditional software, it tries to do it all. It gets broad and super complex. A micro SaaS is the complete opposite. It's niche, it's single purpose, and honestly, its beauty is in how simple it is. It's kind of like the difference between a specialized calculator that does one job perfectly versus a massive, complicated spreadsheet program. So now you get the what and the why. So let's talk about the how. The whole process can really be broken down into a simple 3-phase plan. And the model itself is just beautifully simple. Step 1, you build the asset. Step 2, you grow its traffic and revenue. And step 3, you flip it for a profit. That's it. So let's dive into each phase. All right, phase 1. This starts with probably the most critical decision you're going to make, your niche. You absolutely have to find a clear pain point for an audience that is already out there searching for a solution, and, this is key, they're willing to pay for it. So please, don't build some general, vague tool. Build something super specific, like a tool to help with panic attacks, or maybe a resume optimizer just for software engineers. Next up in the build phase is monetization. How are you going to make money? Look, one-time sales are fine, but the real key to a big, profitable flip is predictable, recurring revenue. I'm talking about monthly subscriptions. To a potential buyer, that stuff is pure gold. Why? Because it signals a stable, healthy business with cash flow they can count on, and that just sends your site's valuation way, way up. Okay, let's talk phase 2, growth. Once the site is built, your number one job is getting people to actually visit it. And SEO, search engine optimization, is going to be your primary engine here. You'll want to publish a ton of content that targets those really specific, what they call long-tail keywords that your niche audience is typing into Google. Then, the trick is to convert that traffic by offering a useful free tool that naturally leads them to upgrade to your paid features. All right, now this is where the magic really happens. Once you've got that stable revenue coming in, you don't just have a website anymore. You have a sellable asset. So let's actually run the numbers so you can see just how valuable this thing can become. Okay, so let's say after a few months of growing the site, your simple little tool is consistently making a modest but totally stable profit of just $250 a month. Now, remember those valuation multiples we were talking about earlier? Well, a stable, growing site like this can easily get a multiple of, say, 40 times its monthly profit. And you do that math, and suddenly your $250 a month website is a $10,000 asset. That is how you turn a small, mostly automated project into a pretty significant chunk of cash in a really short amount of time. But the real power here isn't just in doing one flip. It's in turning this whole process into a repeatable system. Because look, once you've done it once, you can build templates, automate your process, and start launching new sites even faster. You could even bundle a few sites together into a portfolio to get a higher price from a bigger buyer. Or hey, if one site just takes off like a rocket, you can always choose to scale it up into a full-blown business instead of selling it. So let's bring this all together. What's the single most important thing to take away from all of this? It all really boils down to this. The people who win in this space, they're not always the ones with the most complex or revolutionary ideas. Not at all. This opportunity is defined by three things: speed, simplicity, and just plain good execution. And to help you with that execution part, please try to avoid these common mistakes. Don't overcomplicate your product. Focus on getting traffic with SEO from day one. Double and triple check that you found a real niche with a paying audience. And finally, track everything. Because at the end of the day, that data is the proof you need to show a buyer what your asset is really worth. The barrier to entry for creating these kinds of valuable digital assets has literally never been lower than it is right now. So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve?